2.
Good evening, nerds around the world, and welcome to episode 26 of the Nerds Unite as One podcast. It is Paul English, joined as always by Chris Miller. Chris, how are you?
Yeah, doing good, Paul. Doing good, Paul. Just like, yeah, just like can't wait to talk about this stuff. Star Trek. It's the last day. Of course, there's always Star Trek stuff happening. So we jumped up into the final frontier.
Yes, indeed. Yes, indeed. As Chris pointed out, this is episode 5 of Star Trek Month, the final episode of Star Trek Month. And for this episode, we will be discussing Star Trek Enterprise, and then we'll be discussing the 2 J.J. Abrams films, where we expect to be joined by Caleb, Max, and Jack later on. Hopefully, he'll be joining us for the J.J. film, but in the meantime, just me and Chris. So let's jump in. Star Trek Enterprise. Now, this one I know like the least about from a behind-the-scenes standpoint, but if I recall correctly, Deep Space Nine was just wrapping up. Paramount was launching their new UPN network, and they wanted another Star Trek series to be like the network label, like the what's the word I'm looking for? The flagship show of the new network. I think that's it. The flagship show of the new network. They wanted the new Star Trek show as its flagship show for the network, and so they once again turned to Rick Berman, Michael Piller. This time they also brought along Brandon Braga, who I don't know how long he's been with the show.
Okay. Michael Piller had been out of Star Trek. I mean, his last involvement with Star Trek was Star Trek Insurrection. That was right.
That I did not know.
Well, yeah.
Okay, all right. There we go. So Michael Piller was out. They brought in Brandon Braga to pen Star Trek Enterprise, and they decided to make this one a prequel series set approximately 100 years before the events of the original series. So this is an origin story for the Star Trek universe. We get to learn about how the Federation came to be, all the technology they took for granted, how it came into existence. So this was a show. Chris, what did you think about the whole concept of Enterprise?
I thought at first, it was I thought it was I thought the concept of them going back to the origins of the Federation, how everything began, for Starfleet. So I thought it was an interesting premise, this is like a chance. This is like a chance to see, how things came to be, there was also sorts of possibilities going into my mind, how were they going to approach this sort of thing, I didn't really think. I was rather taken with it. It's because it was an exciting prospect to see. The beginnings of space travel in the Star Trek universe. There was no doubt in my mind they was going to go with a right approach to film like the right stuff. Seeing how mankind reached the stars, what trials and tribulations it underwent, in those first few years of exploration, with the series that we got, it wasn't, what I completely expected, and it kind of disappointed me at times, It interested me at first, but the execution was questionable at best.
Okay. Mm-hmm. All right, so we got the premise out of the way. So let's talk about a few of the. Well, let's jump into the characters. This is a kind of a throwback to the days of the older shows where we have. No, forgot I said that. Let's just talk about the characters, and let's start with. You got to start where we always start with the captain, Captain Jonathan Archer. I liked him. Don't have too much. He was just I like Captain Archer. I thought he was a good guy to kind of be like the first deep space captain. His father, Henry Archer, of course, helped to create the warp drive with Zefram Cochrane. So he seemed like he was kind of the logical choice to be the captain of the Enterprise. I enjoyed him. What about you, Chris?
I enjoyed Captain Archer. He definitely had his moments. He definitely was, rather enthusiastic. I mean, he didn't have a sort of a. I mean, he was really the rather. He was the brave, wise, commander of the ship. And he's definitely a bit boisterous, when it comes to his enthusiasm for space travel. You know, and of course, he had Scott Bakula played him. Of course, he's Sam Beckett on Quantum Leap.
Mm-hmm.
There was, I had certain issues with Archer at times. I mean, he could go a little too far on certain things. I mean, he was not to me. He wasn't really the best Star Trek captain to me, but I enjoyed him as a character.
All right. Let's talk about Jolene Blaylock as Paul. Nice to have another Vulcan back aboard. I was not a big fan of her at first, just because she was. I honestly thought she was a stuck-up bitch at first, but I guess that was a character they were going with, trying to make her like it. But she grew on me over time. She got better, and she definitely became a good character. So I liked her.
Well, I'm with you. I mean, Tabal, is of course a member of the Vulcan race. She is what you expect, from your average Vulcan, cold, logical, rational to the letter. She did have a bit of frostiness at times. She can be difficult. Especially in her relationship with Commander Tugger at first. It's like it's just they had a problem seeing eye to eye. So, but as the show, as the show went on, she rapidly, became more interesting. She wasn't, I don't know about, I don't know if cynical is the word, but she definitely kind of, developed as a character. She wasn't, the doubtful, ever logical, rational Vulcan. She had moments where she grew. I mean, she wasn't, understand. I mean, she didn't really quite know what to make of humans at first, but as she went on, I think, gradually, got to learn and know more about them as her time with them went on.
Mm-hmm. Speaking of Commander Tucker, let's get to him for a moment. Oh my gosh, this guy was just fun. I could see he was just fun. Like I could see like almost a prototype of Scotty. This guy was obsessed with his engine. Something about his accent, I just loved his southern accent. It was just charming in a way. He was like so approachable. But when it came to engines, you could see why Archer just wanted him at the helm. This guy was knowledgeable. He was friendly. I just thought he was a great character, and Connor Trenier played him perfectly. So definitely one of the better characters on the show, I would say. What about you?
I'm with you. I love this character. I love Trip. I love his lively, outgoing, kind of likable, charming personality. He's sort of like a better version to me of Commander Riker in a sense. I mean, definitely, and Trip was definitely, definitely a character, you can gravitate, you can easily gravitate towards you because of his intoxicating personality. I don't know about intoxicating, but yeah, he definitely had gravity to him, especially with his relationship with Captain Archer. They one of the best relationships I think of the entire series.
Yep.
Especially when I mean, these guys have been friends for a long time. I mean, and the thing about Trip's loyalty to Archer, he's never ending faith in him. That's what I think was the best aspect about one of the best aspects of the show is how these characters interacted. I mean, and then the last year of the series in that final episode, let's just say I wasn't too thrilled with how.
Yeah, we'll discuss that because I was very unhappy about that myself. But in the meantime, we'll get like the character who's kind of like the opposite of Trip, and that was Malcolm Reed, the weapons specialist, played by Dominic Keaton, I believe his name is. Very reserved, proud naval tradition. Family served in the British Royal Navy a long time. always kept to himself for the most part, but so he started off kind of like a stiff almost, and like kind of a boring character, I would say, but he got better as the show went on, especially we kind of delved a little more into his background, learned more about him. He definitely became a better story character, and he grew on me. So not a very good start for him, but he definitely became better as the show went on. That's what I think about him. What about you?
I'm with you. I thought he was an okay character. I think he had this, I mean, if he had his moment, I mean, he definitely was a character who seemed, very kind of solemn. I wouldn't say like too serious, I mean, he definitely had a reserved, kind of. I mean, he definitely had a kind of reserved quality to him. I mean, he was a worker. He's kind of like a worker bee in a sense, I mean, he always, I mean, and he was always a man of duty, uh, in terms of his service to the ship,
Mm-hmm.
but he did become an interesting, and he did become an interesting character as we went on. He definitely kind of lightened up and kind of, got out of his comfort zone, if you will, and kind of became a little bit more dimensional in the sense,
Yep. One thing that I really can't believe I didn't think of this before just now. Like, if you look at like all the Star Trek, there's always this young, enthusiastic, almost kid. Like, there's always this young kid on the show, is like optimistic, ready, jumping up and down, ready to do stuff. I mean, look at Chekhov from the original series. There was Wesley from Next Generation, Bashir from Deep Space Nine, Kim from Voyager. So, of course, we need another kid-like character for Enterprise, and that was the pilot, Ensign Travis Mayweather, played by Anthony Montgomery. You could see like they were going to things like these younger, energetic, enthusiastic young officer going out into space for the first time. He's all excited, piloting this Warp 5 ship. Oh, his enthusiasm actually just really made those first couple seasons a little better for him, because he was just so excited about everything he did. Everything was an adventure to him. Everything was so exciting. I really liked Mayweather. He was a good character to have around. What about you, Chris?
I'm not really certain. I mean, he definitely had, kind of I think he kind of knew part of who he was when first. Yeah, he was the young, enthusiastic, adventurous, pilot and ready to go on this voyage into space, and they're always eager to discover what will be out there in the cosmos. I felt that Travis didn't really have a lot of development to him.
Mm.
As well as with a lot of other characters, I felt there was even one episode, I believe, in the second season where there was an episode where he is the focus. I felt they could have had a lot of dimension and depth to him. I felt Travis didn't really get a lot to do on the series. I felt he was like kind of relegated to the background, if you will. Like most characters, especially on this show. I felt he didn't get his chance in the spotlight for a time to time.
All right, let's talk about Hoshi Sato, our communications officer. Oh, shoot! All right, let me just get this one out of the way real quick. My father and I actually argue all the time about which Star Trek Enterprise lady is the hottest. My father says Jolene Blalock, but I say Linda Park is Hoshi Sato. Oh, man, is she fine. So I just had to get that one out of the way. So I liked her character. She was definitely... not too much to say other than, I liked her. She was definitely a good character, and I liked her. You got anything, Chris?
I felt at times, with Hoshi, I felt we got to explore who she was as a person, and as a character. She definitely was a more anxious character than many of the other characters, you would see on the series, especially when it came to space travel. She was. I wouldn't say nervous, but she was. she was quite, not, at ease, with the unpredictability, not really the unpredictability, but, some of the hazards, some of the hazards, the wonders of some of the hazards of space travel. And then she was just kind of, and she was kind of interesting and with the character at times. Like I said, with Travis, I felt, that there wasn't a lot that we knew about her. She definitely had her moments where she had a episode that was focused around her, but I felt that she you know I mean, she definitely had her. She was definitely prone to fear at times. I feel she did kind of, overcome those fears as the series progressed. But I would have wanted to learn a lot more about her.
Yep. All right. So the final character, and I gotta admit, this one was kind of a misstep for me. Not because I didn't like the character, just it was a new character, a new species we'd never heard of before. And they never showed up in any of the other future Star Trek series. So I'm wondering what happened to it. And I'm talking, of course, about Dr. Phlox. Now, I like Dr. Phlox. He was a good character, and John Billingsley played him very well. He had this unique charm to him. He was definitely knowledgeable, a great physician. But the misstep I thought was like he was from a brand new species that we never heard of, the Denoblians. And we learned a little about them. Like, they're allowed to have like 3 different partners. That's wow. Okay, that's interesting. It's definitely an interesting species, and I wish they showed up in other Star Trek series because I would have loved to have learned more about them. And it makes me wonder, well, why aren't these guys mentioned in the other series? Like, how come we never heard about them until now? And this wasn't the first time they made that misstep. There were a couple of species they introduced in this one that we never really heard from again. Yeah. And it's like, oh, geez. So that was a misstep for me. But beyond that, I liked Dr. Phlox. What about you?
Oh yeah, definitely. John Billingsley really poured himself into this character. Especially and Phlox definitely was a trip. He had a really really friendly personality. Had a wry sense of humor to him. And he's always engaging and friendly, but he wasn't, afraid to, speak his mind at times. Especially with Captain Archer. I believe in one episode on the show, I think it was called "Dear Doctor." I mean, it was an episode where where the ship is holding a cure from a culture that's been stricken with a plague, and the dilemma is saying how they're going to solve this problem, and then and the episode's kind of like a forerunner, a glimpse of what what the Federation might be, because most notably, above all, the Federation created that Prime Directive.
Yes.
I mean, but yeah, he wasn't afraid to speak what he thought. I mean, in terms of moral and ethical situations, on their missions together. But I enjoyed him as a character. Really, had taken a shine to him.
All right.
Hoshi's hotter. Let me stop.
Oh, you got something to add about her?
No. I was just saying Hoshi. I was joking with you saying Hoshi's hotter.
I agree with you.
Yes, I definitely like her to be my. But I would like 7 and 9 to be my girlfriend.
I'll take Jetsi and Dax. Thank you. Anyway, all right. So let's talk about the seasons, and I'm actually going to do something different this time. We're just going to go through the first couple. We're going to go through seasons 1 and 2 at the same time because, to me, they just kind of bleed together. There's really not much of a difference between them. Most of this is just setting up what we will ultimately see in the other Star Trek series. We see the rules of the Federation, the technology we take for granted these first couple seasons. We get introduced to the transporter. We get to see the first phasers. We get to see the first, not just handheld phasers, but phasers on a ship. the origins of the Prime Directive in the episode you just mentioned, Dear Doctor. That's really what I noticed. The first couple seasons were mostly about. It was mostly like setting up what was ultimately going to be seen in like the future, which was the past 4 Star Trek series. A series, the technology they take for granted in the original series, the Next Generation timeline. That we see that set up in the rule. That's what I saw the first couple seasons. So not much to say about those. That's how I viewed them. They're like, it was just set up for what we saw already in the first 4 series. This is where it began. The rule, the technology. That's what I got out of the first couple seasons. Chris, what was your take on the first couple seasons? Do you have a different take than me, or?
Well, I thought the first 2 seasons were not that well done. They had their moments, because the pilot was a great introduction into the Trek universe. How you said how the transporter came to be. And how about Starfleet in its beginnings. I wasn't really that thrilled with it. I mean, I felt that like Voyager, I thought it was lazily written. It was like it had a lot of recycled plots. I mean, it's like it was just lazy storytelling and very weak, And it's just like it had very solid episodes here and there. I liked Shuttle Pod 1, which is an episode where Trip and Reed believe, that the Enterprise has been destroyed and they're stranded in the shuttle pod, in a complicated situation. And I like the season finale of the finale of the first season, Shockwave 1. I thought it was an Avengers, way to end the season. I mean, the second, the conclusion wasn't what I really expected, And one of the most frustrating things about those 2 years was the temporal Cold War. That really had. I was baffled. I mean, it was like what's the purpose of this whole thing? I mean, what's the temporal Cold War, and how does it, play into the storyline of the series? I mean, it was something that really wasn't. I don't know. Maybe it was a useless throwaway. It wasn't something that I thought was a very interesting concept. I thought it was a very stupid one at best.
Well, they got into more detail about that in when it came to season 3. I thought they really did a good job of explaining it there, but we'll get to that in a moment. So a few standout episodes in the first couple seasons, to me at least. One of them, I can't remember the name of it, but it was the episode where it's Malcolm Reed's birthday, and Hoshi's trying to figure out, what they should do for for his birthday party. There's this alien coming out who's like harassing the Enterprise. You see him get the phase cannons up and running, and I loved the ending of it just because it was very touching. Hoshi makes Malcolm has Chef bake Malcolm a big cake. There's pineapple in it, and I just like the way it ended. That was a solid episode, very character driven. I like that one. So that was one. Another episode was the introduction of the Andorians attacking the Vulcan temple.
Yeah.
We learned it was spying on them. We also get Jeffrey Combs back as Tran. Oh, Jeffrey Combs, man, he was incredible.
Yeah, Jeffrey Combs, solid, man.
Yeah.
You go wrong. No.
Yeah. The Shockwave 2-parter I thought was very well done, especially the first half. Another episode I really, really liked. I don't remember the name of it, but the Enterprise has been heavily damaged through a series of events. They sent out a distress call and they come across this station that repairs their ships. That repairs a ship really fast. And they start investigating the interior of it. They find some unique stuff. They think Travis has been killed. They see all these other species enslaved. Yeah. I thought that was a very good episode. Now, the one thing that I'm a little confused about is because some people say like that was actually a Borg station. I don't really know. I mean, I can see why they say that because they're so adept at repairing technology very well. And they seem to be like learning about different aliens, like possible assimilation. So I can see how that might be Borg connected, but I don't really know. That might be up for debate. But those are some standout episodes of the first couple seasons to me. I also love the one where Trip got pregnant. That was very funny.
Nah.
Bringing that one up. That was funny.
That was a stupid episode.
Yeah, it was funny stupid to me at least. So, like so stupid it was funny.
It was a waste of time.
All right, but anyway, those are some standout episodes to me. And like I said, Dear Doctor, we learned the origin of the Prime Directive. I don't know if this was a season 1 or season 2 episode, or if it was even in the season, but where the Enterprise meets that species that has like 3 races, like a man and a woman, and then there's like third species that handles a child and what?
I think it's Codinger.
All right, I can't remember it, but I remember that being a decent episode. So, yeah, those are some standout episodes to me in the first couple seasons. Chris, you got any other episodes in the first couple seasons that stood out to you?
I did like Minefield, which was like where the Enterprise, it gets damaged. I mean, it's caught in the minefield. It gets damaged. I mean, it's disabled. And they're trying and Reed tries to deactivate a mine, but he gets pinned to the ship's hull. And this
good episode.
This is the introduction to Romulans, although we don't see them on screen.
No, we don't see them.
Because, maybe continuity here. The Romulans, are seen for the first time by humans in Balance of Terror, which is which was the episode in the first season of the original series. And that was a pretty good episode. The one with the Borg was pretty good. I thought that was
with the Borg frozen in ice.
Yes.
Yes.
I mean, I thought that was a solid, hour of television. It was always good seeing the Borg. Such. I mean, not really. I mean, the second season ended okay with them going into the Expanse and finding the Xindi. But
yes.
Yeah, but for those first 2 seasons, not much I can. I wish I had good things to say, but I don't.
The one thing I'm still having issue with you over this show, I cannot believe you do not like the theme song. I freaking love this theme.
People hate that theme song. I hate that.
I'm not one of them. That is one of the best theme songs I've ever heard.
Oh, the thing is so lame in the lyrics.
I don't know why the hell they changed the melody of it and season 3. That's like, come on now. The first version was so much more epic. That pissed me off.
The whole they should have changed the whole damn song. I mean, it's like this doesn't belong in a Star Trek series.
Yes, it does. It's like the beginning of. Oh my god, I love it.
Because it's like, what were they thinking? It's just like
they were thinking of going in a different direction, and I liked it.
It's like all the thing. Oh, it's just like it's totally wrong for it. No.
No, I thought it was a perfect way for like a prequel. I thought it was a perfect for a prequel show about Star Trek. Anyway.
No way.
Yes.
No.
Anyway. Yes.
No.
Yes.
Break the Heart sucks.
It's love forever. Anyway, let's move on.
It sucks.
All right. No, season 3. Season 3. Now this, I thought, was when this show got really good. It's all about as Chris brought up, the second season finale is Earth gets attacked by a species called the Xindi. They learn they're constructing an even so they go into the Delphic Expanse where the Xindi supposedly live to look for them. Oh my gosh, season 3 this is when the show got amazing. The writing got better, the acting got better, the situations were better. Just everything about this show got better with season 3. I friggin' loved it. The episodes were amazing. The action was great. It was just a very, very well done season, and I loved it. So, Chris, I'm going to throw it to you on this one. Season 3, did it get better to you or no?
It did get better. It was okay. It was okay. Especially, it's not as good as. It wasn't like I'm not sure it was fantastic, but it did get a hell of a lot better than those first two seasons. And it seems they were trying to capture the tones of both the original series and the next generation with the series. At this point, they weren't really sure. I believe where to go. To take what direction to take with the series. Most like television at that time. Most sci-fi, most genre television. You know, uh, you know, were shows that had season-long arcs and stuff like that. Trek was really what they had a couple standalone stories. This is like the season where it was like a long like story arc. Devoted to the long arc devoted to one long season devoted to one story. And this season, knocked it on all cylinders. And I think it got a bit darker. With the series, it was a little bit more exciting and a little bit more adventurous, and it was definitely, more interesting and involving, I enjoyed the season quite a bit.
Yes, I was gonna think about like some episodes that stood out to me, but apart from a few like filler episodes that I just thought like really was not needed in any way, I thought like the entire season just as a whole was just an amazing season. So I can't really think of like a single episode that stood out above the other. Like just the season as a whole stood out.
Yeah, one standout I believe was the episode Twilight.
Twilight. Which one was that?
It's the episode where Archer had an accident. His long-term memories affected.
Oh, right. Yes, that was a solid episode.
Yes, and Scott Bakula gives the best performance. I think in the entire series, Jolene Brainlock was pretty good and it was pretty solid, and it definitely reminded me of yesterday's Enterprise in the sense. This is an alternate timeline, and they had to do what they can to make things right. Script writing was excellent.
Yes, indeed. And you brought up the temporal Cold War in the first couple seasons. Like I said, just mentioned, I thought they did a great job of like better explaining the whole concept of the temporal Cold War in this season, because it tied into like the thread of the entire season. Like, the people or the Guardians ordering the Xindi to destroy Earth, they're being threatened by Earth because in the future they're going to destroy them. Though I agree that the temporal Cold War was not very well handled in the first couple of seasons, the threat of it, but they did get a better job, I think, of handling it in season 3. Do you think it did a better job explaining the whole temporal Cold War thing in season 3?
Not really. It's just like they had to find a way, and they had to find a way wrapping the whole thing up. Anyhow, I don't really remember much about it, but I just remembered it. It's just like one of the more questionable elements of the show. It's just like one of the most weakly written and probably the most convoluted part of the show. And I'm glad they wrapped it up in the 4th season. Oh my god!
Yeah, they wrapped it up right at the beginning, and let's talk about season 4 on that point. Like they wrap up the Cold War, and this season definitely felt more along the lines of back to like an original series, Next Generation deal, but with like a touch of like the Deep Space Nine action. Like it was still like a little edgier than like the first couple seasons of Enterprise. We get a little more like backstory into events to come. Like we learn about what happened to the Klingons, why they look that way, why do they look different than they do why do they look different in the original series? It was a plague. We learn about we see how Data started to come into existence with Aaron Soon. Had these augments that failed miserably, and like, well, maybe cybernetics will work very well. So we see him working on a prototype for Data, and so you get a lot of backstory in that. So there was you see Trip and T'Pol get a relationship. That was good character for them. We'll talk about the series finale a little bit at the end, but aside from that, Chris, give me your impressions of season 4.
Season 4. Oh my goodness.
The final season.
Season 4. This is by far the best of the entire run of the series.
Really? Okay.
To me, this is the best because this is we get the sense that this is truly a Star Trek prequel.
Okay.
Numerous ties to the original series and what's to come for the sequence of spin-offs, the Next Generation, Deep Space Nine, and Voyager. We have lots of interesting nods and references to previous incarnations of Star Trek, the TV shows, the movies, and what have you. It's just like this season came in and kind of came together just wonderfully, and part of its success would had to be credited with the prominence of Manny Koto being the showrunner of that whole entire season. And Manny Koto is no stranger to science fiction. He's done shows like Odyssey 5 that was starring Peter Weller, RoboCop fame. But he of course he's a fan of the original Star Trek series. And there's no doubt seeing this, being this Trek prequel. I mean, you can't miss that. Especially when what they did with this season, and then they're tying it to the subsequent series and films. Of course, they brought in a couple of writers, who've written Star Trek books. Judith and Garfield Reed Stevens. They even worked with William Shatner on several books, in the past. So this season definitely was to stand out, and it really, and then the show really found its footing by the time the season arrived. But it was unfortunately too late because it was his final year.
Yeah.
They definitely they definitely found their footing with this.
Too little, too late. It was just a matter of that. So, like I said, we'll talk about the series finale in just a moment. But first, were there any a couple of episodes from season 4 that really stood out to me? The Orion Slave Girl episode was an interesting one. The story arc with the augments, the human augments, the Klingon augments. Seeing Brent Spiner as like Aaron Soon was a very nice story arc. And of course, the In a Mirror Darkly 2-parter, seeing the alternate universe come back. Oh, that was just glorious.
Yes, definitely.
So those were some episodes that stood out to me. Were there any episodes that stood out to you, Chris?
Oh, definitely. Of course, well, like you, I love the 3-part arc of the augments, and how it ties into the Eugenic Wars, and of course with Khan.
Yes.
And how they all tie to him and his band of cronies. And I love Brent Spiner as Eric Soon. He had definitely that kind of charm and humor to it, but they also had of course, being the villain, he had that vicious side to him. I mean, a lot of people, the response to that, the first episode of that arc was mixed at best, but I enjoyed it very much. Another highlight was the Vulcan, the Vulcan trilogy, the Vulcan the 3-part story, the Vulcans. We get to see to Powell, from the original series. I mean, you get to hear about Powell from the original series. I mean, who met with Spock in Amok Time.
Yep.
And we got several, and this is the arc where the Vulcans become who we know them to be.
Yes.
Because like in the first 2 seasons of the show, the Vulcans were not who we thought they were from the other shows. They were lying, they were manipulative, but this really set them on the path back. I really like that 2-episode arc, with how the Klingons, got the look the way they did in the original series, I mean, I don't really like. I thought the 2-parter with the setting in the Mirror universe was pretty good at best, you know. And I thought the two part. I mean, I thought Terror Prime was okay, you know.
Yep.
You know, and, you know, with Peter Weller as this human isolationist leader who destroys Starfleet Command. You know, the lot of references to the original series. You know, Colonel Green being among them. You know, and that was a character introduced in the original show. You know, but yeah, this season was definitely the standout. You know.
All right.
You know.
All right, so let's get to the big elephant in the room, and that is the series finale. You know, I really liked it when I first saw it, but looking back on it, I realized it's mixed at best. I mean, it's complete. It's set up as like a flashback sequence with it's like set up like a hologram sequence on the bridge of the Enterprise D, and you see. And I'll admit it was nice to see Jonathan and Marina back as Will and Troy. That was a little nostalgic fun to me. I'll admit it, but so setting up this finale like a holodeck scene, they could have done so much more with that. It was really a shame that they did. You know, the way it was like exploring what happened during the Enterprise final mission while Riker's contemplating what to tell Captain Picard regarding the whole Pegasus thing. It's like, oh god, like you could just tell at this point, the writers just didn't care at that point. It's like they stopped caring. They knew the show was going to be end. It's like, well, what the hell? Just throw something together. It's like, come on, guys, do something better for this. And then Trip dying at the end, that was total bullshit because I hear so many people like petitioning to, you know, get an Enterprise a season 5. We want a season 5 of Enterprise. All due respect, as much as I'd love to see that, how can you do that without the entire cast back? I mean, you just can't. So, yeah, and yeah, hearing Scott Bakula recite the end of like the classic Star Trek opening to boldly go where no one's gone before. Yeah, that was okay, but overall, it was. I don't think it was as bad as a series finale of Voyager, but it could have been done a whole lot better. So mixed at best for me. I was not a big fan of the series finale of Enterprise. Chris, what about you?
Oh, I was like, I absolutely I'm like Rick Berman, Brian Braga. What the fuck were you thinking when you fucking up this fucking piece of crap? What the fuck was going through your fucking mind when you? I mean, what possibly could have gotten through your head when you developed this whole thing? You know, make it about Riker and Troy. You said it was a Valentine to the fans. Bullshit. There's no fucking Valentine to the fans. You got Riker and Troy. No matter how good it is to see them again, they should have been a part of this episode. Why make it fucking like holodeck sequence? Why focus it on them? Why kill Trip? Why was it? That was so damned unnecessary? You know. After 18 years of Star Trek on television, you choose to end it like this. Don't make me fucking let him. You know, don't make me fucking. It's just like it's like bullshit, man. It's just like it ended it in the most stupid and most unimaginable way possible. I think it was an insult to the fans. You know, it's just like, and the franchise was kind of stagnant in that point. You know, it got better. You know, with this season of Enterprise, but it ended it on such a flat note with this abomination of an episode. It's just like, I wasn't, you know, Wonder Woman.
Yeah, all right. So, as you all know, Enterprise only lasted 4 seasons. It was the final season of Star Trek's monumental 18-year run on the small screen. The finals, as of now, it is the final. As of today, it is the final Star Trek series to appear on television. Chris, I'm just gonna throw it out to you. What do you think is like the of Star Trek Enterprise, with this one being the final show, final series?
Say again. Okay, I'm sorry.
With Star Trek Enterprise being the final series, what do you think is like the ultimate legacy of it? Like, do you think Enterprise has a legacy?
I'm not really even sure it does. You know, I think its legacy is like Voyager's. It's just like it's just not really. I mean, I felt as a series, Enterprise got better and better as it went on. But you know, the fact that that it lost viewers and it could have been better. And the fourth season was very much proof of that. You know. I mean, I think that. I think it was very much proof of that, and that and then for season 5, there was going to be a lot of interesting things. Shran was going to even be a member of the crew.
Who?
Shran,
oh, wow, that I didn't know.
Yeah. Yeah, and there were going to be a lot of more ties to Star Trek lore, but I'm not sure. I mean, I'm not sure what about. I'm not sure what the legacy of Enterprise is. I mean, I feel I feel that it's a show that I think at the end, there was too little to be salvaged because a lot of the fans of the series had abandoned it. A lot of the Star fans had abandoned it. I felt it could have. I mean, I felt we should have gotten a few more years out of this series.
I could not agree with you 100% on this one. Like, Enterprise simply ended too soon for me. It's like, as you pointed out, I didn't realize that Shran was going to be a member of the crew in season 5. Like, now I wanted to see that. Like, I wish this show lasted longer. Like I said, it got better as season 3 and season 4 went on, but it was too little, too late. A lot of all but the most diehard fans had abandoned the show, and like no one cared anymore. Everyone just got lazy with it, and yeah, I think that was that's ultimately the legacy of Enterprise. Just this unfinished thing that could have been so much more than it was. It just ended too soon.
Oh yeah. Definitely.
So yeah, that I think was ultimately the legacy of Star Trek Enterprise. And as we finish up, we see that Max has joined us. Max, welcome.
Good evening, nerds around the world. How's it going?
Oh, we're doing all right. Just finishing up Star Trek Enterprise. Here is Caleb as well. Caleb, welcome.
What's up, guys?
So, like I said at the beginning, ladies and gentlemen, we were expecting Max, Caleb, and Jack. Max and Caleb are here. We'll see if Jack joins us shortly. But guys, that's gonna wrap up Star Trek Enterprise. And I think when that ended, Chris, would you agree that a lot of people felt that? Because I kind of got the impression that Star Trek was dead for good. Like, it was like there would be reruns shown on syndication and other network for like years to come. But as far as like new stuff, I think. Could you agree that a lot of people thought Star Trek was dead?
I mean, I certainly agree with you, like 100% about 100% about that. And some people believe, for 18 straight years, from 1987 to 2005, they believed, I think, Star Trek had, kind of saturated itself both on television and on feature films, and that kind of dried the well a bit, I mean, I think they got into the well a bit 2 times. I think that's what, led to, not the producers not having so much creative energy, when it came to the later series and films at that point, I think they were burnt out. I think, there was a little bit too much Star Trek.
Yeah, I can see where you're going. Yeah, I mean, 18 years, God knows how many, like, 4 or 5 movies. Yeah, Star Trek was a little tired and burned out. What it needed, I guess, was a new spark, like a new spark of life, something to mix it up, rejuvenate, and lo and behold, J.J. Abrams steps in and gives it just that with the 2009 Star Trek film. And wow, what a movie that was. I freaking loved it. It was action-packed. It was good writing, solid direction. The villain, everything about it was just a fun thrill ride. I freaking loved it. Chris, Star Trek '09, what did you think?
I mean, this franchise definitely in need of a creative spark. It needed like a major electrocution, new talent bursting from the scenes, and J.J. Abrams, of course, who did Lost, and it was quite a hot commodity in Hollywood, and of course, he did Mission Impossible 3, he was the best man, to reinvigorate this franchise. And of course, he stated many times he is not a Star Trek fan,
No.
Yeah, but he did this franchise right,
That he did. Going on Becky back on what you're saying, JJ was actually the first person to like be in charge of a Star Trek project who never knew Gene Roddenberry personally. JJ never met Roddenberry or any of that. So he definitely took the franchise in different directions, but we both agree, Caleb, it was a great movie. Caleb, what about you? Star Trek '09. I know you were never a Star Trek fan. What do you think about Star Trek after you saw this movie?
Well, yeah, I was never a Star Trek fan. The reason I love the JJ films is, in my opinion, they're not Star Trek. I mean, they are Star Trek movies because they have those characters in the universe, but they're Star Wars films disguised as Star Trek films. They just have.
Oh boy.
Did he? Looks like we lost him for a little bit.
Bad connection.
Yeah. So while we wait for him to come back, Max, go ahead. Star Trek '09. Were you a Star Trek fan? But did Star Trek '09 get you interested in it? What did you think of '09?
Yeah, Star Trek '09 was the first Star Trek film that I watched.
And
yeah, I was really looking forward to watch it, and I was blown away. I was really blown away when I watched it. The only problem I had was those stupid lens flares, but aside from that, it was a great movie. And then after I watched Star Trek: The Motion Picture, the very first movie, and I got bored out of my fucking mind.
Yeah, that's why it's called the reason it's called the slow motion picture. Okay.
Oh my god, I don't know how much it takes to get
Motionless picture. The motionless picture.
Oh my god, that movie's so slow, it's so boring. It takes 15 minutes to go up to the Enterprise. Oh my god, I hate that.
You want Star Trek? Wrath of Khan.
I haven't even watched Wrath of Khan. I need to watch all the other movies. I kind of lost interest after watching the motion picture.
You will regain interest when watching Wrath of Khan. Trust me, that is Star Trek at its finest.
Yes.
I'm gonna watch it eventually, but it feels that I've already watched it with Into Darkness.
Oh.
No. We'll talk about that later, but Wrath of Khan was infinitely better. I mean, that was like almost a perfect movie. All right, Caleb. You got separated from us for a little bit. Why don't you continue on Star Trek '09?
How far did I get? I don't know.
Anyway, it being a Star Wars film. A Star Wars film.
Well, yeah,
Star Trek
because
drag.
that's what it feels like. It has that Star Wars feel, and as we all know, JJ is a huge Star Wars fan. So that's what gets me excited because of these films, And Star Trek '09 is the highest rated Star Trek film on Rotten Tomatoes at 95%. Which is crazy, and the characters are great, and this movie, the adventure just feels great, and you understand what's going on, it's like her trying to get the champion. I think all the actors, give really good performances, like I love Chris Pine. So, I love those characters as they were. It's good. I really enjoyed it.
Yes, indeed. One of the things I really loved, and I am looking at particularly Mr. Jonathan Liebsman. If you want to do fan service right, watch Star Trek. That argument between Carl Urban and Zachary Quinto as McCoy and Spock, that is fan service done right. It flowed with the story, it felt natural, but you can clearly tell it was an homage to the original series because McCoy and Spock argued like that all the time. It was funny. It was just a well-done fan, it was a well-done fan moment. Like, that is fan service. Not what you did in Turtles. So if you do anything, if you want to do fan service again in Turtles 2, I suggest watching Star Trek 09.
Well, Jonathan Liebsman isn't directing. Right. Jonathan Liebsman isn't directing Turtles 2.
Well, whoever's directing it, make sure you do fan service right. Watch Star Trek 09. That is fan service.
I heard it was Michael Bay.
No, it's Dave Green.
No, please.
No.
It doesn't matter. Bay will still direct the second half. Anyway, we're getting off topic. So Star Trek 09, massive hit, rejuvenates the franchise, scores a huge amount of money in. Obviously, it warrants a sequel, which is Star Trek Into Darkness. I did not think it was as good as the first one. Still an enjoyable film, but not as good as the first one. I was very upset when I found out that Benedict Cumberbatch was playing Khan. I did not want that. He proved me wrong. He was good. Certainly not as good as Ricardo Montalban, but certainly a very good character. The action was very well done. Not too bad a movie. Caleb, what about you? Star Trek Into Darkness. We watched that together, didn't we?
Yes, we did. Good movie. Now, this movie, it feels like it can divide so many people. If you're a diehard like fan like you are, probably. Good, and then that one scene, Paul, you know exactly what I'm talking about.
Yeah, we'll talk about that. We'll talk about it. Trust me.
A non-fan like me, Paul, who has never seen Wrath of Khan, great movie. Oh, awesome! This is great. So it's like, if you're a non-fan, who liked 09, you'll watch the movie. Oh, great movie. Not as good as the original, like most people say, which I totally agree with. I like the 09 one a lot more. Not saying anything bad against In Darkness. It's just saying the greatness of 09, but really good. But if you're a hardcore Trekkie, there's one scene that you're gonna hate, probably, and we will get to that. So, but
oh yes.
So yeah, I mean, well, you're not gonna hate it, but you're not gonna like it because it was a ripoff. So, but so
I'm gonna hate on it.
I really enjoy it.
On it. But before I do, Chris, Star Trek Into Darkness. What did you think?
I thought it was a really well done entry in the series. It's not as good as it's not as fresh to me as JJ's film, but it was a very competent, exciting, and riveting action adventure story. Definitely. Yeah, I thought that Benedict Cumberbatch did particularly well as Khan. He did. He played a very icy, very intimidating Khan. I still favor Ricardo Montalban's performance above all. But yeah, you're just mesmerized by Montalban as Khan. Cumberbatch is good as well.
Yes.
And the special effects are by Industrial Light and Magic are well done. I mean, I want to marry Zoe Saldana, but
yep.
Yeah, I really want to marry her, but that's kind of I don't know. That's like a fantasy, But yeah, but the scene that disappointed me the most.
Wait, yeah, we'll go get to that. We'll get to that. Don't worry about your celebrity crush with Zoe Saldana. We all have them. I want to marry Emily Ricard so badly. Oh. Anyway,
Saldana. Oh my God.
Max, Star Trek Into Darkness. What did you think?
Her.
Oh, it's the best of the 3 films I've watched. Walking into an IMAX theater with the screen, filling up. I was really into the movie. I felt like I was in it. Benedict Cumberbatch is fantastic as Sean Harrison as Khan, and yeah, I really like this film. It's visually stunning. It has a the opening scene on the, I think it's called Nibiru, the Class M planet. It's amazing. And then Spock going into the volcano, it's awesome. At the end, Spock confronting Khan, it's great. I love this movie. It's my favorite of the 3 films I've watched. I don't want to mention Star Trek: The Motion Picture again.
Wow. Okay. So you like it more than 9, Max? Wow, that's rare. You don't really hear that much. But
yeah.
Nice.
So as everyone brought up, for diehard Star Trek fans like me and Chris, there is this one scene that just aggravates us to death, and that is the scene where Kirk goes into the reactor chamber and stops the reactor, but sacrifices himself. He dies of radiation poisoning. There's this scene with Kirk and Spock separated by the glass, and you see Spock yell out, Khan. That is a gigantic fucking ripoff of Wrath of Khan.
You know what, though? You know what, Paulie? I'm with Max right now. We're just laughing because we're not Star Trek fans, and we're just like, you guys are getting so worked up, and we're just like,
because it was, that was
whatever.
JJ got lazy, okay? JJ got lazy. That was a huge fucking ripoff. Not an homage, a shot for shot remake. The only difference was it was Spock in the chamber in Wrath of Khan.
It was a wink.
No, it was a gigantic fucking ripoff. Plain and simple, shot for shot ripoff, and it pissed me off to no end. Ugh.
When he explained that to me, I was like,
Chris, just go. Ugh.
Go, Chris.
I wanted to throw a chair or something. I wanted to punch the nearest wall. I wanted to scream to the heavens as loud as I fucking can.
Just do it!
When Zachary uttered Khan, it's like, how could you not sing any lower? What the fuck is wrong with you people? JJ, what the fuck was all that about? And him screaming Khan and all that bullshit.
I think he was trying to homage, but it turned into a ripoff. I just think.
Exactly what it was like. And the worst part is, I saw it coming. As the scene's unfolding, I'm like, I'm just going, don't do it. Ah, fuck, they did it! Oh. So, yeah, apart from that fuck fest, this movie was okay, but God, that scene pissed me off.
I mean, Jesus. It's so controversial, because non-Star Trek fans are like whatever, but like hardcore Trekkies are like, this is some of them. I mean,
it's like Iron Man 3.
There are some that like the scene. There are some that like the scene. So,
it's like Iron
but
Man
again,
3.
I haven't seen Wrath of Khan yet, so I mean, I'm just like, it's just another movie scene to me.
I've seen Wrath of Khan. Like, I wanted to watch Wrath of Khan, but I fell asleep during it because.
But when I see Wrath of Khan, I'm gonna. It's not gonna bother me that it's the exact same scene. It's not gonna bother me whatsoever.
But like, I made the mistake of watching the Wrath of Khan when I came back from a wedding, and it was 3 in. But I fell asleep, so I didn't get a chance to finish watching it.
It is a good movie.
Yeah, you need to finish that up.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, so. But I hate rip-offs, so I can't stand it.
Say that again?
Gretchen needs to get sick Caleb's ass down and have him watch Wrath of Khan.
I will watch it eventually.
Eventually.
Sooner rather than later.
I have listen, I have a Star Trek fiance. She'll make me watch it eventually. So.
You know what? If you still haven't seen it by the time I come down there next summer, Caleb, we're just gonna have a Star Trek marathon. We'll watch them all.
All right. Sounds good. That sounds good. So,
all right.
Yes. Did you want to talk about Star Trek 3 and about your hopes for it, because it comes out next year?
Yes, it does. It comes out next year.
I just started filming, so I'm not sure if you want to talk about like your hopes and stuff.
Well, we'll talk about that briefly, because Chris posted a link to our group that it now has the official title of Star Trek Beyond, kind of a generic title, but I'm just hoping like for this one that they get back to like the basics of Star Trek. They're out in space, they're on their 5-year mission, they're exploring, like, I just wanted to get back to, like, the spirit of what made Star Trek so iconic, the exploration of it.
So, Paulie, let me ask you, as you and me talked about, Star Trek '09 was him getting the chair,
Yes.
and then Star Trek Into Darkness was him earning the chair.
Yes.
What's this one?
Well, like Star Trek '09 was him getting the chairs. Into Darkness was him earning the chair. I guess like Star Trek Beyond will be like earning his legacy. I mean, if you look at like Next Generation, Deep Space Nine, Voyager, Picard, Cisco, Janeway, I mean, they're great captains in their own right, but you can make an argument that all of them, they still kiss Kirk's ass. I mean, he seemed like the greatest captain in Starfleet history, so I would say Star Trek Beyond is him earning his legacy as James T. Kirk, the legend.
Okay. Cool.
So that's what I would say it is.
Listen, I just hope. I mean, this one's not being directed by J.J., so we're gonna have less lens flares. So there's that. I just hope that they just continue on this path because I've loved the first two movies. So I mean, I'm expecting much of the same. I mean, I'm glad JJ's not doing this one because he's doing Star Wars, so that works for me. Yeah, I just hope that it's a lot of the same because I've loved the last two. But let's not try to lie to us and say, "Oh, he's not Khan. He's this other dude." When we all know he's Khan. It was the worst. It was the worst kept secret in Hollywood.
Yeah, let's not do that again.
Come on.
Chris, you got any hope for Star Trek 3?
Star Trek 3.
Star Trek Beyond.
Star Trek Beyond. Star Trek 3. And Justin Lin tweeted out an image, of course, if you see the image, it's the image of somebody donning a Starfleet uniform, put the Starfleet logo attached to it, I'm with you, Paul. I mean, it's just like, the J.J. Abrams were brilliant, to me, Into Darkness is not as good as the first one, but it was pretty good overall.
Yep.
They had a vigorous spirit and a youthful energy to it, that Star Trek had lacked in previous years. I wanted to go more to the exploratory aspects of the, get some more thought-provoking storylines, and I want to do some really interesting social commentary. Have it, go back to what Star Trek is. It's a vehicle talking about, issues within the space, exploring the human condition within the space age format. Talk about the problems of today, I'm not sure. I feel the production may be a bit rushed at this point. But next year's the 50th anniversary, of the series, And they're going to celebrate in the most special way possible. I mean, Justin. I know. Justin Lin. I like Fast and his two of the Fast and Furious movies. These did 5 and 6. He
stepped down from JJ, bro.
Say that again.
He's a big step down from JJ. He's a big step down, in my opinion, in terms of a director. I mean, Justin Lin hasn't really done much that has really made me happy.
Well, Fast and Furious 6, Fast 5.
Yeah, I mean, I like those movies, but that's a one-note thing. Can he do something like Star Trek? Like, can he do a space opera movie? I don't know. I've only seen him do action.
Yeah, he can do action well. Yes, but can he
directed Better Like Tomorrow, which is great.
So
yeah, but I'm not, I hope he does well for the franchise. I'm not expecting much from him, but let's hope he handles the property with with
respect.
Yeah,
respect for sure.
Yeah. Matt, you got any expectations for Star Trek Beyond?
We'll see. I know I have any expectations. I gotta watch it.
Okay. All right. So, guys, as we wrap up Star Trek month, I want to go into some foray that we normally don't go into on our show, but this was history made. If anyone who knew Gene Roddenberry, he would always talk about his vision of the future. He would always say, in the 24th century, there will be no war, there will be no poverty, there will be no disease. All the children will know how to read and write. He basically pictures a utopia where all were truly equal. There was no bigotry. There was no discrimination. And the diehard Star Trek fans, people like me and Chris, our dream is like do our part to make sure that one day that vision becomes reality. Anyone who loves Star Trek wants that vision to be true. Well, as we all know, on Friday, the U.S. of A. took a huge step towards making that dream real when the Supreme Court ruled in a 5-4 vote that gay marriage was legal in all 50 states. This was a historic ruling. People all over the country were celebrating. So, guys, I just want you to give just a really quick thought about your opinion on this decision. As far as I'm concerned, it was the right call. The right call was made. Good for them. No one should be able to tell other people who they can and can't love. That's all I got to say about it.
I agree.
Caleb, what about you?
Well, as being someone who has two gay parents, both my parents are gay. I have two uncles that are also gay. It is something that's very close to my heart. So I'm very happy. I know I spoke to my mom and she's ecstatic. So yeah, this is just great news. And the one phrase that just came to my mind is "It's about damn time." So yeah, I'm ecstatic. Happy.
All right, Chris, what about you?
Yes, definitely. Definitely, it's just like this has been an issue that has been going on since for God knows how long. It's just like and this is just like it wasn't for and of course and things like this are are easy to over. I mean, these things like this are not easy to do. They had to have they had to have a long and hard fight to get right. I mean, to get this whole thing passed. I mean, nobody should be. Nobody should be. I mean, with these people, with gays, lesbians, and bisexual, transgender, there's human beings. We are. I mean, yes, they have a different preference than we, but they're still human beings in their own right. I mean, this country, when they with this whole country, this is a country where where people are not to be judged by their race, color, creed, or sexual orientation. And for God knows how long, this whole thing with gay marriage, I'm happy for these people because I'm able to unify in a way as a heterosexual couple does. I'm really happy.
Okay, Max, you are up next. What was your reaction when this news broke?
Well, I was happy for the U.S. I mean, gay marriage in Canada has been legal for 10 years, I believe. So it wasn't a problem. It wasn't a problem for Canada, but it was a big problem for the U.S. But I think, what struck me as odd was when people commented on Arnold Schwarzenegger's photos and Yahoo's photos, the replies, they were perfect. I think it's a great moment for history, and I'm happy for the U.S.
All right, so guys, that is going to wrap up Star Trek month. But before we wrap up our show, as you all know, it's the last show of the month, and that means it is time for collection update. This is how we're going to end the show. We're going to show off all the goodies that we've bought over the past month. So let's jump right into that one. Chris, do you have anything you want to show off?
Actually, I did get this. I mean, I did. I'm not sure if I should bring it up here, but for my birthday, I did get the first season of Marvel's Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D.
Nice.
Yes. That was a pretty sweet gift from my mom. It's just like I know a lot of people do enjoy it. go back into it, especially with Secret Wars happening next week. Yes. Yeah.
All right. Max, you got any goodies to show off?
I think I got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. I bought 13 over the past 2 months since my last Nerds Unite show was. I don't know what it was. But, okay, so I'm going to start. Speaking of Star Trek month, I picked up Star Trek Into Darkness on Blu-ray TV. Kingsman on Blu-ray.
Yes, absolutely. Oh, love Kingsman.
The Legend of the Drunken Master with Jackie Chan.
All right.
Tootsie with Dustin Hoffman on Criterion.
Nice.
Hero with Jet Li.
All right.
Fargo.
Good movie.
Face Off.
Okay.
Great movie.
I'm gonna do this one for last. Kill Bill Volume 1 and Volume 2.
All right.
Good movies.
Cobra with Stallone.
Okay.
Cheese.
Con Air. Tango and Cash.
Oh
and
wow.
then I think my pride and joy, the one Sin City recut extended with the Hard Goodbye in it.
Nice.
And it only cost $5.
Nice.
Fantastic movie. Fantastic.
Nice
fantastic
pickup.
movie.
All right. Anything else?
Nope.
All right.
I'm gonna head out.
Oh, you leaving?
Yeah, I have to go. It's way past my bedtime.
Okay. Have a good night then.
Yeah, see ya.
All right.
See
Caleb, you got anything?
Well, because I was in between jobs this last month, I only got 2 things. So
Okay.
next month I will have a lot more. You can bank on that.
All right.
But I got West Side Story.
All right.
Solid.
Okay. Y'all know I got a fiance. You know that.
Yep.
So I got her this.
Oh no.
The Notebook.
Okay.
Oh, okay. All right.
Okie dokie. All
All
right.
right.
All right.
At least I believe that's all I got, but I can't remember.
All right. I actually had a nice haul this month.
Nice.
I got some goodies. So most of them are rebuys, but I did get a couple new stuff. So I'll show off what I got. Beginning with season 4 of Hercules: The Legendary Journeys. Just nostalgia trip to me. I loved this show growing up. Got the miniseries Sons of Liberty. Love history. This is a very good miniseries. Highly recommend checking it out. Justice League Flashpoint Paradox, rebuy on Blu-ray.
Fantastic movie.
Another rebuy, Justice League War.
Oh.
Rebuy again, Batman vs. Superman Apocalypse.
Don't have that one.
Rebuy on Blu-ray. This is a new one, Superman Shazam, The Return of Black Adam. Now this next one, as you all know, I got little sisters, so this one was more for them than for me, but I do enjoy this franchise, and I thought this was a good movie. SpongeBob, Sponge Out of Water.
Was it good, Polly? Did you like that though?
Yeah, it was pretty good. I thought it was better than the first movie. Actually, it's certainly been better than the recent SpongeBob seasons.
Okay.
All right, new edition of Talladega Nights, Ballad of Ricky Bobby, unrated and uncut. Hell yeah.
Great. Love that movie so much.
Rebuy Blades of Glory.
Good movie.
I found this nice little pickup here. Sin City and Sin City Dame to Kill For double feature.
Nice.
And here's one of my bigger ones. The Die Hard 25th Anniversary Legacy Collection. First 4 Die Hard films on Blu-ray. Rebought this. Got this on sale for $25.
I'm proud of you, my Padawan. I'm proud of you.
And now this last one. I want you to make this perfectly clear. I only bought this last one for 2 reasons. Number 1, I'm a completionist like Caleb, so I had to complete it, and it was on sale for $5. So a good day to Die Hard. I had to complete it, and like I said, it was only $5. It was on sale for $5. So I'm like, okay.
I have that movie as well.
So in the end, both of these came to just like $30.
I'm proud of you, my Padawan. I'm so proud of you.
And So yeah, that was my collection update for the month. That's all stuff I've got this month.
Hey, was Best Buy having a good sale on those DC Blu-rays, Paul?
Yeah, they were on sale for like $10. But what pisses me off is I couldn't get Wonder Woman. They had Wonder Woman, and I didn't have the money at first. And when I finally did, it was sold out. So I was pissed
Of
about that.
course.
Oh, I need to get Wonder Woman.
Yeah, I got that last month. Yeah, I got that last month.
So yeah, that's all the stuff I got this month. I had myself a nice month.
Nice job, Paul. Next month, I'm gonna have a good haul. You wait.
Hopefully, I'll have a
Don't you
decent
worry
haul
about
myself
that.
still.
James Bond month.
Yes.
James Bond!
Yeah, so like I said, that wraps up Star Trek month. Thanks to Max for joining us. Caleb, thanks for being here for the very end to discuss the JJ films.
Yes, sir.
And Chris, it was such a pleasure talking Star Trek with you all month.
Oh, definitely. This is definitely like been a joy for me talking, this franchise with you, man. And of course, looking forward to James Bond month. Oh,
yes, indeed, ladies and gentlemen. Next week's show is the beginning of Bond month. All throughout the month of July, we will be discussing all 23 James Bond films based on actors. So stay tuned. Our first show of the month, we will be focusing on the 7 films made by Sean Connery and George Lazenby. Those are the films we'll be discussing in our first episode. So stay tuned for that. Until then, thank you very much for watching. Have a great night.
Yeah.